What's up guys, welcome back to FarmStrong. My name's Jack and thanks for joining me on the channel again. It's not quite the start of a new week on the farm. It's Tuesday afternoon now. You can probably see I've had my harvest haircut and beard trim about a month late or so, but we won't talk about that. I've just come down the field, got the fence with a grain trailer on. Dad has made a decision we're going to come and have a try at the beans here. So we've been holding off on these, as you can probably maybe see behind me, certainly here. Some of them are still green, but a lot of them have turned. So I think we brought the combine down. We're going to have a little crack at them and see how we get on. But I'll walk into the crop and show you what it looks like now. So we're really not holding out much hope in terms of the yield in this crop. With them being spring beans since we planted them, we really just haven't had the water that these need to produce a good crop. And if you take a look at the plants here, they're pretty short, and you know, we've got maybe 3, 4, 5 pods or less on some of these plants, and in those pods we've probably got 2 or 3 beans there. So yeah, we're really not going to see the yield, but we are a seed crop here, so we got a slight premium for that. But what we get will be what we get. Tricky year. Just walking down to see the combine as it stopped on the corner. And this lovely thistle caught my eye. Seems to do all right in a drought. Bees going nuts for the flowers on there as well. After finishing off the wheat harvest and being able to be fairly positive about the yields we got this year, these beans are really going to bring us back to the reality of the drought we've had. Combine stopped. They had an issue with, because the crops are short, getting the beans to feed in. So we've taken that little ridge off there. You can see it's not here, it is there. So I think it's probably like a bit of a stone trap. See if they're feeding better. And then probably check that. And I think the course of action is going to be come back tomorrow morning and do the beans first thing. Having a little test to see if the little mod on the header is letting the beans feed better. You can see with the reels right down because the crops are short. Not an awful lot of chaff, as there isn't much to chop. Just going to empty what's in the tank and come back tomorrow. Just had a look on the class app, look at the telemetry of the combine, and it said 0.89 tonne a hectare for what's been done already, so definitely doesn't bode well for the rest of the field tomorrow. It is tomorrow morning. Up a bit late to the party. It's probably about 2:45, 10 to 7 now. Dad's already done a load off the combine this morning while I was busy sleeping. But yeah, combine has cracked through a little bit of work, which I can show you. Bright morning sun out there. But headland's been done and this little block out the middle. I think the combine's going to be coming just over this hill here in a second. Dad reckons we had a little bit of rain or some kind of moisture overnight. Combine telemetry is telling me beans are at 13% moisture into the combine at the moment. Yeah, first load in the shed definitely had a little bit of warmth to it. So once we've got that all tipped in the shed, we'll fire up the fan and get some air through it. The combine didn't come over the hill, so I'm going combine hunting. Looks like Paul's combining across the tram lines up this end of the field. I'm not sure if that's because he's getting the crop to feed better or just the way the land lies. There's a little hare that's just run out the crop here. Off he goes. I keep talking about the combine telemetry that I can see in the Class app on my phone, and this is it. So you can see the track of the combine in the field we're currently in, and then this is the data that I can see. So you've got basic things like fuel, grain tank level, speed, and then more detailed information like the average yield, grain moisture, and then even things like fuel consumption, threshing drum speed, concave position, loads of information. But first season we've had this, and it's handy to see what's going on when you're in the field or away from it. Dust coming out the spout is some of the dirt that's been picked up by the combine header, where we've got it tipped forward and running so low to capture all the crop. But shouldn't be too much of an issue as it's so dry. It's all just coming out the spout, as you can see. Just tipped and levelled off my first load. We're obviously not expecting a great amount of beans out the field, so we won't be storing them in the shed particularly high at all. Probably about 1 metre and a bit or so, and then we'll just level them off. And then, like I say, we've got it on a drying floor here, so we'll get some air blown through once all the crop's in store. Paul just tidying up this last little patch to finish the field. It's probably taken just around 3 hours or so to get through it. Looks like he's got to empty before we can do that last bit. Person driving the trailer, too busy filming. Combine's come to me. Good view of the spout there. It can really chuck some volume out. Just tailing off now. Field finished. We'll go and tip and weigh up the damage. Popped into the office to have a look at the yield map for the spring beans that we just harvested. We did a little bit over 2 tonne a hectare in the end, which is pretty disastrous, but at one time thought we could have been even closer to 1 tonne a hectare. So there we are. You can just see in the field here, sort of centre of the field is higher, and the areas where we've yielded best in this corner and down here is where the field sort of runs off down to the ditch line. So these are the bits that have, despite the complete lack of rain we've had, have just held on to a bit more moisture, and the beans have managed to get their roots down into some water. And yeah, yield map sort of shows that. Guys, it's Sunday morning now, and I realised I hadn't filmed an ending for this video, and it's half an hour before I should be putting it out, so I'm just here sat in my garden doing that. Apologies, it was just a short video this week. Didn't really plan to be filming much. There's lots of similar stuff going on that you guys have seen before, but thought you would like to see us harvesting the beans, so got that filmed. We did also harvest the beans at our contract farm, which also did 2 tonne a hectare. So just proves, I mean, a challenging year for spring crops in general, and yeah, for spring beans in particular. So disappointing yield. Perhaps we're thinking, are we planting those next year? But as always, we never know what the weather's going to do, but it seems like these dry springs and summers seem to be repeating themselves in recent years. So just, yeah, apologies for the short video again, but there will be a video next week. Lots of cultivations going on. We did do a bit of work modifying one of our cultivators this week to put some low disturbance subsoiling legs on it. So hopefully that will be in action next week, and I can talk through what we've done there and show you all about that. But as always, thanks for watching. Take it easy. See you on the next one.